What is your best and that's why I am single moment? Just this morning, I realized I have been washing my clothes with Cascade dish detergent for the past few months. Super late edit. Thank you so much for the gold. I was bored one night. So I went out and bought some industrial strength balloons. Came home and spent like 4 or 5 hours learning to make balloon animals. In the afterglow, surrounded by my little rubber friends, I wondered what the hell I'd just done. A little while back I saw a beautiful girl. Just drop dead gorgeous. And it suddenly hit me how much effort she had put into it. The clothes. The makeup. The hair. Not to mention the probable workouts and dieting. And I realized that if I wanted a girl like that I had to put in the same effort. Since then I've been intermittently single rather than completely single. Edit. Cloths, clothes. On Valentine's Day I photoshopped a picture of a date, the fruit, to look like it was on fire and posted it to Facebook saying got a hot date tonight I'm too scared of rejection to make a move. And that's why I'm single. Edit. Thanks for all the support guys. But I just have one issue. The person I want to ask out is a close friend of mine. Hanging out in the hot springs in Banff. In the deep end. And this very attractive woman sits near me. I strike up a conversation with her. And things are going really well. Then, my youngest comes over to check in with me. Then my third kid. Then my second kid. Then my oldest kid. I looked over. And pretty lady was gone. A nice girl just after I graduated university explained to me why I was single. In university. And shortly after, I would grow a little white boy afro and had these huge mutton chop sideburns. In university it actually worked out for me when I grew it out. I'm at a small house party and I see a girl I find attractive. I walk over to her and try striking up a conversation. She said, "You're not 20 anymore. Grow up. You're not getting any girls like that." Double quote. I cut the hair to corporate world appropriate levels. Lost the chops. And it turns out she was right. Way more success after I did that. If you're out there mystery party lady. Thanks for that. Edit. Mr. N. A drunk woman came into a supermarket where I was working and tried to convince me I'd go out with her daughter, who was quite attractive. It then somehow came to showing baby pictures she had of one of her other children, I think, and then I said that one's a bit young for me. Bam. The mother freaked out at my shockingly tasteless joke and any chance I had with her daughter was gone. Just why I thought it would be a good idea to make a joke like that at that moment I have no idea. Catching my reflection in the TV after I dropped the spoon on the floor and had just started waggling my finger around in the Nutella jar to get the last bits out. Received a straightforward booty call a few weeks ago. And I asked the lady in question if she could bring pudding with her. When she arrived she pointed out that I'd seen the booty call more as an opportunity to be fed than a chance for social interaction. And she was absolutely right. At this point I may just be in the market for sex and pudding. And that's generally not conducive to a full-blown relationship. Because I won't settle just to have a so. I'd rather be alone than with someone I'm not truly happy with. I don't really leave my room much. Excluding classes. I don't ever really feel the need to go out. I just play Steam games and hermit myself away. Who knows, maybe one day a boyfriend will fall out of the ceiling. Talked about Pokemon, the Twitch play Pokemon stream thing, for about 15 minutes. She didn't care at all. I'm 25. FCK my life. I was on a date and had an itch on my chin so I scratched it while talking to her and it turned out to be one of those zits that just bleeds and bleeds. I made a Skyrim reference in a conversation with a girl I was interested in. It took me a while to shrug it off. I've sworn off dating till I'm employed and making a living wage again. In my current state, I wouldn't be a boyfriend. I'd be a burden. Not going back to the dating pool until I'm the kind of guy I wouldn't mind seeing my own, hypothetical, daughter date. I just stare at them and don't have the balls to start a conversation with them. Minus the simple hello. So you see, what I did was write a whole new scheduler which now runs multiple threads in parallel. What I do is first calculate the number of records read T from database in the last hour. Divide by total records. And they always increase BT dub. To create number of threads. Then it loops through that many times and does that thread thing. I can positively say that I increased processing time by X times. My response to "What do you do in your firm?" Asked by a pretty girl in the bus, whom I had the chance to chat with. I am not a very smart person. A few weeks ago I asked myself the same question. I was on my lunch break from work and there I was, sitting in my parked car, by myself, listening to weird 70s jazz. I was vaping with some people from my guild when a fairly hot guy texted me and asked if I wanted to see a movie or hang out. I didn't bother responding because we were neck and neck in the match and I didn't want the distraction. I was at a bar with a few girlfriends when a group of dudes approached us to chat. They introduced themselves and shook our hands. One introduced himself to me and said, "Nice to meet you. I'm Mario." I couldn't help but respond with "It's me, Mario," in a horrible Italian accent. Edit. In my defense, I was buzzed and he was wearing a bright pink polo with the collar popped, a huge white watch, and hair that was most definitely inspired by a cast member from the Jersey Shore. I figured, maybe he'll have a sense of humor. He was not amused. Completely blank when girls look at me with that look and start flirting with me. I even had a couple beers beforehand. Damn it, I'm so awkward. Mine was when I laughed at my ex-GF's tearful story of her mom's cancer scare. To be fair, she believed God had turned her mom's ovarian cancer into a baby. I farted my dog awake last night as I was watching Olympics and Twitch play Spockman. It was a glorious 20+ second blast followed by a full minute of deep belly laughing. Although I would routinely fart around my ex-Dutch over the bed. Well, because I am terrible at picking up signs. I am good looking and pretty muscular. I am just god awful at picking up hints. I'm not even awkward too. There have been countless times I've messed up. One time I was in line at lunch. Cute girl walks up and starts to talk to me, asking what I'm doing. I tell her eating. I say nothing else and she walks away saying he's getting food. I stand there like a statue. Cringe. I'd have to leave my apartment if I wanted to meet someone, but that would require putting on pants. I left my college library at night and halfway down the hill a girl who was walking in front of me turns around and starts talking to me. She says she saw me in the library and asked to walk with her. Thinking nothing of what was happening, I walked with her and just talked about random shit. I got to my block and just said "Nice to meet you" and bye. When I got to my door I realized, God f***ing damn. Finally alone with cute girl I've been crushing on since orientation week of university. We're in the basement of a campus building cleaning out a storage room for a student group. I'm desperately trying to make interesting conversation and being the smooth ladies man I am. I bust out this line. "So, long pause. Do you think there are any security cameras down here?" Double quote. Because I don't feel like I will ever meet someone who wants to be with me. And thus, I think men can sense that. Not to say that I have zero confidence. Cause I do. But I've been single a long time and I just don't see it happening again. I hope I'm wrong. The last time I was at a bar with my buddy, I walked us over to two girls and opened with "What's the worst thing that has ever happened to you?" My buddy's head just dropped with a long sigh. My inner geek was so appalled that a guy dressed up as Venom on Halloween who didn't know anything about the character that I wouldn't give him my number. He and his friend even stayed an extra half hour to cheer my friends and me on so we'd win the costume contest. I think on any other night where he wasn't in costume it would have been fine. And that's why I'm single. Double quote. I was also dressed as a comic book character that night. I hit a baby in the face because of my clumsiness. I would kill him if he was alone with me for longer than 4 hours because of me accidentally dropping a plate on his head. I get anxiety just from notifications or phone calls. I don't think I could handle a full-on conversation with someone that I was interested in. Cause I could have a chick hitting on me and I would never know. I'm fairly oblivious and subtlety is not my specialty. Besides low self-esteem and the slew of normal issues, it's things like the fact that I have Riverdance music on my MP3 player. I'm a 22-year-old dude. I was at the bar one night, and this gay guy came up and asked if he could buy me a drink. I politely declined, and explained that I was batting for the other team. But it sparked this entire discussion that I was actually interested in having. I am generally interested in exploring other people's perspectives on things. While we were standing there talking, a small blonde girl walked up to me and said, "Hey, I like your face." And I nodded at her and said thanks. "You too." And went right back to my conversation. The dude I was talking to stared at me, completely flabbergasted, and said something to the effect of, "Are you sure you're not gay? You just crushed that poor girl." So, basically, I'm completely oblivious to the world around me. I was sitting in the public library reading some random book when a group of girls sat behind me. One of them then sat next to me and started to just try and have a conversation with me. I was skeptical because as she was talking to me I noticed the rest of her friends laughing in the background. This convinced me that they were probably pulling some kind of prank on me. I then decided that I'm not having any of this shit and then just said, "Is this some kind of joke?" And then I left. As I was walking away, I realized she was just trying to make friends with me and that her friends were laughing at her because that's what friends do. TLDRFCK my paranoia. I put one side of a rubber band on my toe, hold the other side with my finger, and play it as a musical instrument. Me and some friends were at a family-owned restaurant that, like Hooters, has a whole paper towel roll at every table. So my first time there, my friends and I are sitting there enjoying our meal when I notice this roll of paper towels. I point and say excitedly, "Hey guys, it's just like at Hooters." To clarify, I was talking about the paper towel roll. But right as I pointed my finger at the roll, our waitress, who had rather nice breasts, stopped at the table. Her breasts were right above the paper towel roll. To her, it looked like I was pointing at her rack and saying "just like Hooters." I hung my head in shame. Working in a strip club, I see countless husbands take off their rings, attempt to solicit sex from us. Guys lying to their GFs about where they are. On the flip side, watching certain dancers plan to meet up with customers in hotels and various other disgusting and illegal things, while baby daddy is home tucking in the baby. And that's why I'm single. This all happened last Friday. Actually, I've been interested in a girl from work for the past while and didn't say anything because I assumed nothing would come from it. On Friday, she quit and was supposed to be going across the country for a month, Canada, Alberta to New Brunswick. We were texting and she admitted that she's had feelings for me for the last month or so. I decided to tell her that I felt the same, and she was really excited. Now there's the situation that she's gone for a month. If we both feel the same way in a month, we'll probably get together. But right now the thought of it not happening is bothering me. I guess my point is that I never act on my emotions and always assume the other person isn't interested or just wouldn't want to date a guy like me. I assume this is all somewhat on topic. Sorry for any mistakes. Typed this out from my phone. I was in a rich neighborhood near Gresham, Oregon with a beautiful redhead that I knew. We were interested in each other. She was talking about one of the homes, probably a $2 million house, and sighed appreciatively. Smiled at me and said, "Wouldn't you love to live in a house like this?" I understood what she was asking me, and I said, "No." She seemed shocked and said, "Well, I know you do a lot of volunteer work now, but what about when you are older and have money? Don't you want a nice big place?" I looked at her straight in the eyes and said I will never be able to buy a big house. She asked me what kind of home I do see myself in. And I replied a shack. A bungalow. Maybe a bunkhouse. Possibly a cabin. That day really cleared things up between us. And we didn't date. Different goals. Of course. But it hit me. After that, I am a different dude. And not really appealing to some women due to this issue. I am 100% sure people think I am creepy. Even though I try my hardest to avoid others at all cost. I try my hardest not to make myself noticed. In fact, I try to hide my asthmatic labord breathing when I am in an elevator with anyone else. It hurts, but I'd rather not make people uncomfortable. The other day I fell, injuring my ankle and knee, and everyone with the exception of 2 guys that passed by gave me looks like I f***ing killed someone. I'm fine being single, but really people? What the FCK is up with the nasty looks? I choose the single life because I'm not emotionally ready for a relationship. Or financially. Or physically. All in good time. My ex-wife stole from me. Cheated on me. Destroyed, sold most of my possessions. Broke, stomped on my heart, and now I have trust issues. And that's why I'm single. I look like I'm 15 or 16. And no one wants to go to prison for picking up a minor. I've been hit on by some of my high school students. And that just makes me feel uncomfortable.